Get ready.
This is the voice of Wayne America.
Lighten up, Francis.
With your host,
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Mike Carnes.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
Only at WayneAmerica.com.
The supernova's gonna kill us all.
Okay, this guy is the real zero, that's true. Let's just think back when you guys were freshmen, huh?
.com.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of Wayne America podcast, an exclusive here on WayneAmerica.com. I'm Mike Carnes, your host for everything that is the best town in all of America, and that, of course, is right here in Wayne America. We want to thank our sponsors at Providence Medical Center. For more than 40 years, Providence Medical Center has been recognized as a leader in providing extraordinary rural health care to individuals in northeast Nebraska. Located here in Wayne, the medical center offers robust inpatient, emergency, and comprehensive specialty care for more than 30 providers. Providence Medical Center performs 28,000 procedures annually, utilizing their laboratory, imaging, and surgical services. In addition to these services, Providence Medical Center is home to several highly specialized behavior health, rehabilitation therapy, and wellness programs. Providence Medical Center, providing quality health care in the spirit of Christ. And if you've driven by Providence Medical Center lately, you notice that there's some construction going on, and some of that construction has been completed. We're looking forward to seeing some of that here in the coming weeks and months, and we'll keep you updated on that when that happens. But on this occasion, on this edition of the podcast, we wanted to kind of get a head start on the school year because it's August, and that means that we're just days away from the start of the 2022-23 school year, and kind of hard to believe that summer is almost over already. And I can remember when I was a kid, and we didn't have to worry about the start of school until the end of August, but we're talking middle August. And with us on the program today is the superintendent of schools at Wayne Community Schools, Dr. Mark Lenihan. And Mark, welcome to the show. And I know you're the table's already full of paperwork and stuff, so it's looking like the school year's about ready to start.
Yeah, we're getting ready to get going. The administrative team is back and doing some prep and getting ready for the school year. We're real excited. Obviously, this time of year is always probably my favorite. It's enjoyable to get ready and see the kids start coming back. They're around a little bit even this week with summer with conditioning for. I think their practices will start next week already. So we're looking forward to another great school year. Every year, 22-23 school year. I remember 82-83, but it just seems like time flies. And of course, you and I both got through our 13th year in Wayne because I think we started about the same summer.
We did. We started about a month apart, I think.
Yeah, so that's amazing too to think it's been that long, but it's been a great run, and Wayne's a great community. Just so supportive of education and the school district and all the things that go on. So we're real blessed to have that support.
Now, before we talk about what's coming up this school year, of course, this summer. You were honored by a group of superintendents with the Superintendent of the Year award, which is a pretty nice honor, and you were that was announced here I think a couple weeks ago.
It was last week actually. Yeah, It's the Nebraska Council of School Administrators, and it's quite an honor and really one of those things that I don't know that you ever really expect that it might happen, and there's a kind of a process of nominations we're split up in regions throughout the state, and so to be recognized by your peers is certainly something that is something that is very, very humbling, and it's kind of hard to put into words how you feel about it, but as I said before, the work of a superintendent is dependent on the staff, and we're so fortunate here to have such a dedicated staff of teachers and non-certificated staff. People have been here all summer working hard, getting ready for school. Teachers, everybody maybe kind of thinks they have summers off, but they've been taking classes and going through professional development and kind of gearing up, and a lot of them are around already getting their classrooms ready. And, that's, to me, the award is nice, but to me it's more a reflection on the great work that everybody does here.
Yeah, we've got a great staff and great support system here at Wayne Community Schools, and so certainly everybody deserving of recognition there, and of course you being the head guy, they give that award to the guy in charge. So that's awesome to see. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. As I said, it's a humbling experience, and certainly one that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, with the school year, getting rolling here, we're in the first week of August, and like you said, fall sports practice is going to start up next week, and the first day of students in school comes up shortly after that. So it's we're on the doorstep of another school year now.
We are, yeah. It seems like not that long ago that we left, and this has actually been one of the longest summer breaks we've had here because we got out so early with no snow and then unfortunately that dry spell of weather continued throughout summer here. We haven't had a lot of rain, but so we're starting on the 17th, which is a week later than we had started last year, and that was something that the past couple of years, we've heard from parents, kids, staff. It just seems so early to be starting on the 10th, 11th of August, and we plan our calendar with a group of teachers and administrators and bring it to the board and decided, maybe we should look at that a little closer. So hopefully it's given everybody a chance to maybe get one more fishing trip in, or one more little mini vacation or something like that before we get started. But in some ways too, around here there's not a lot of time where there aren't kids here, maybe a week or so around the 4th of July, but we've had summer conditioning going on all summer. Mrs. Anderson had a play here in June. We've got another group, the Missoula Children's Theater, is working this week on a performance. So there's always students around, it seems like. Not as many maybe, but it's been a good summer. I think we're gearing up and we're ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I remember when I was in school growing up. I remember our first week of school. We didn't have a first full week until after Labor Day.
Right.
We'd have those 2 days before Labor Day, and then we'd have that first week where Labor Day was a Monday. We didn't have a first week of school till the second week in September. So it was, we had a long summer, and we usually would get out around Memorial Day and have a nice healthy 3 months of summer. So it's definitely changed over the years, but. I think a lot of things have changed over the years. I think the things that kids do during the summer and the commitment you have to make to compete in high school sports. Right. It's almost a year-round thing now, and so it's a lot has changed over the years.
It has, and I always worry about that a little bit. Kids need to be able to be kids too, and families need to be able to take time away, and kids different than when you and I were in school. It's harder for them to disconnect because of social media and all of that. And so we at Wayne we actually do a summer moratorium similar to the winter NSA moratorium. The last week of July basically is our self-imposed moratorium on activities. So the weight room's closed. The coaches are not allowed to. I mean, they can be here, but we don't want the kids here. Usually it's kind of around the county fair and that type of thing. And that I'd actually, in some ways, I wish that could be even a little bit longer, but at least it's a week where kids know that they just get a break because they need that, and that to me is the fun of being a kid, just to and not have a schedule, And so, although our kids are real committed and dedicated too, and they want to do well in their athletic programs, and I think our kids understand that it's really important to have those summer camps and all the things that go on. But it's nice to just have a set amount of time at the end of July that's hands off, and hopefully it works out for people.
You bet. Now, what are some things that are going to be different for this school year? Is there anything new or different for parents to be looking for?
Yeah, not really. I mean, we're still the last couple of years, as everybody knows, it's been a little extra work with the pandemic, and last year was pretty normal, I think, as far as being able to run our schedule per usual, and so we're really still kind of coming off that, and so there's not a lot new that I would say is going on. We didn't do a lot of extra construction or anything like that this summer. Just some basic stuff. We are replacing our steps out west of the high school with some new concrete stairs. But really, you know, as far as new things, new programs, there really isn't a lot new. Just kind of continuing the work we've been doing and making sure that, you know, we always talk about when we do things, we want to do them well and make sure we run good programs. And sometimes you need that time to just be able to settle into some of the new initiatives that have gone on. And so, you know, we're looking forward to getting back and getting rolling. We still will have the 2 o'clock outs on Wednesdays with our calendar, and that's time for staff to do their professional development and work with kids for about a half hour there too. And so, you know, we'll just keep rolling as we've been going right now, and as things come up, we'll tackle them as they arise.
Yeah. And you mentioned construction, and I know that something that the school is looking at as far as long-term needs of the district is a possibility of maybe a building addition or maybe new buildings. What's been the latest on some of that?
Yeah, we started actually with a community committee, facility committee last spring, and we had a group of 20 to 25 people, staff, but more community members. Really kind of look at the master plan that we had done a couple of years ago prior to COVID. We know our enrollment's grown, you know, and it's too early to know where our numbers are going to land this year, but they're going to be very close to where they were last year. Our buildings are really full. We're using every inch of every corner, I think, in both buildings now. And especially at the lower grade levels, we have a need for space. And so the community group has looked at some of those issues that we have and some of the needs that we have, not only for classrooms, for the lower elementary, the preschool, but also at the junior senior high building, some additional classrooms on the east side of the building to kind of get things where we want them. Right now we've got 2 science labs on the east end and 1 on the west end, and things are kind of spread out a little bit, so we want to kind of consolidate departments and have people working closely together. And then looking at some of the areas, you know, on the athletic side in terms of, you know, where our wrestling room is right now, where our weight room is, you know, what can we do maybe to bring all of that together inside the building. So those are things that we're looking at. We're also considering a performing arts area that we have a lecture hall right now is what we call it, you know, which we use for our plays. We really don't use it for concerts because it really isn't big enough to hold the crowds, and the stage really isn't sufficient either. So all of those things had been considered and looked at. And right now we're in the process of looking to hire a firm to do our construction management. And so we've been going through that process this summer. We actually just finished interviews last night with 3 construction firms. And that selection committee will make a recommendation and bring that forward to the school board on Monday, with our meeting next week on Monday the 8th, for the board to consider their recommendation to move forward with that construction management firm. So that's a big step, getting a firm on board kind of early in the process to help us with our planning.
Now, do you see some kind of a plan being put toward taxpayers this school year, or what kind of time frame are you looking
You know,
at?
initially, yes, I do. Depending on how things work this fall, you know, we're considering a potential bond referendum in February or March next year. That's something the school board has to wrestle with, and
Sure.
and you know, it's things that we'll be talking about quite a bit here in the fall, I'm sure, to see where we're at. We know there's some real high priorities that we have for those classrooms, you know, to make sure that we have sufficient space for the number of kids we have. Our enrollment has grown well over 100 kids in the last 8 years or so, and it's been kind of, you know, I don't want to say slow growth, but consistent growth, which actually is good. That helps us with planning instead of getting 100 new kids in 1 year, you can plan for 10 or 15 new ones a year.
Sure.
But we just kind of hit that capacity where we really need to expand. And then also knowing the progressive steps that the city is taking with a pretty large apartment complex that it looks like that has kind of gone through all of the necessary steps. So that I think is going to happen, and that's going to add students. That regardless of whether people move into those apartments or people move out of some of the rental homes, opening those up for families. So we know our enrollment's going to grow based on that too.
Yeah, I've seen in other places that I've been over the years where communities have seen a major amount of growth. That your school district really has to be on top of those things,
right?
And make sure that you're planning ahead, because it can be very easy for a district to get overcrowded,
right.
and then you have other issues then that can pop up with that, and just from my own experience, I happened to be in Gretna when Gretna was going through its population explosion. I mean, 100 students in
that
1 year.
Nice.
You think
yeah.
100 students in 1 year? So how about 300?
Yeah.
It was just amazing how quickly that community grew, and that the school administrator there at the time, Kevin Riley was his name. He and his administration really were good at mapping out a 25-year plan for the growth that they were going to see coming, and it's the growth has been pretty much as they have predicted, and they've been able to build the buildings that they've needed. Now they've got, I think, 6 or 7 elementary schools, two middle schools. They're opening up a second high school this year, so that community has really done a great job of working together between the city and the school to make sure that that those needs are met.
Right, and that's really important. And that's in a smaller scale is what we want to do. The last bond vote in Wayne was in 2000. So our goal, number one, we want to be very transparent this fall, making sure that we get information out to people. And number two, we want to do this so whatever is decided upon lasts another 22, 23, 25 years, because it is a big step for a district to take. Obviously the patrons of the district that pay taxes are going to be impacted by it, and it's going to be something that we want to make sure people understand the purpose and what we're doing. And the bottom line is we want to provide a high quality education for our students, and we want to be a good place to work, and we want our community to be real proud of our school district. And so facilities are a big part of that. And now too, with all of the issues around school safety and other things that have cropped up over the years, I think some updating of systems would be a good thing for us too. Yeah,
I think this is kind of a neat situation, because a lot of rural communities like Wayne their student enrollment is going down.
Mm-hmm.
If you look around just around this immediate area, a lot of the school districts around here are seeing either no growth or they're seeing a reduction in the number of kids that they're bringing in,
right.
And a lot of that is that some of those kids, they leave town and they don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of kids who are Wayne graduates that they'll leave, but then eventually they'll come back to Wayne.
Yeah, we've actually hired a few of them this year. We have, it's kind of exciting for me. There's 3 or 4 teachers on staff that were students here when I started, and so it's kind of neat to bring them back. And they are excited about coming back.
Were they in your office a lot when you
No,
were back
none
then?
of them were. No,
okay,
absolutely
so
not. Yeah, but that's fun, and they're excited about coming back. And Wayne's a special place, and
yes,
I think there's the advantages I think to Wayne are just some of the amenities in town. You mentioned your ad on the hospital, PMC. I mean, look at all the work they've done, and mm-hmm. Wayne State College, of course, and great support from our business community. There's just a lot of good things going, and we need the housing. That's an issue. That's hard sometimes when we have teachers get jobs here, and it takes them a while, so to find a place to live, and they eventually do. But that housing is gonna fill up pretty quick, I think, and we won't see the exponential growth. I don't think you'll see 2 Wayne high schools like Gretna and Bennington's going through now, but we're going to see that growth. We know that.
Yeah. Well, I can remember when I lived in Gretna.
Yeah.
Bennington was a small, probably about a medium-sized Class C school, about the size of Wayne, and that was that wasn't that long ago. That was 25, 30 years ago. It wasn't very long ago. And same with Gretna. Gretna was a bigger Class C school, and now they're a Class A school.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how that growth can just hit a community.
Right.
I think that the thing that's different though is that we're not part of a metro area, whereas Bennington and Gretna are on the doorsteps of Omaha.
Right.
So it's a little different, but still, you gotta be keeping an eye on that future growth and what's coming up, and I'm sure the class sizes at our younger levels are reflecting that, and so those kids are gonna be Wayne High School kids here before too long, before you know it.
Yeah, it's actually coming up where last year our junior high, our 2 grades in junior high were the highest they'd ever been for enrollment. So all those numbers are starting to move forward, and we typically tend to gain students in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade areas. So on top of larger classes, that's typically where we see some growth anyway. And so, we need to be ready for classes of 90, 95, 100 kids. That's right around the corner.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it. It's been amazing to watch this community grow. Like I said, we both got here about the same time, and so we've both been able to kind of see what's happened over the last 12 or 13 years, and it's hard to believe that this community continues to grow, especially with the economy being what it is, and the fact that rural Nebraska has seen numbers decrease over the years. We're kind of an anomaly in that regard.
Right.
So, well, is there anything else about the school year that you're excited about or ready, or that we need to know about?
Yeah, we're just excited. We're looking forward to the kids coming back, and we don't have a lot of new staff. I think we have 4 new teachers and a new assistant principal. So, it's nice to bring in new people, new faces. I think 3 of the 4 are alums, as we've talked about, and so that's kind of cool. We're just looking forward to getting the ball rolling and getting started. We have our open house on August 15th from 5 to 7. That's a Monday.
It's a Monday, yeah.
And then school starts on the 17th, and we'll just do a half day that day just to kind of get the kids in and get them through the schedule, and get them out of here at noon, and then that Thursday is our first day here. We've got a couple new coaches with fall sports, so looking forward. They've been working hard all summer to get their kids ready, and fall. Fall is, of the 3 seasons, is probably my favorite. I just like the time of year and the excitement that comes with it, and getting things going off to a good start. So we're looking forward to it. Yeah,
the thing about fall sports I always like is it's part of a new. Every year, school year, it's like a new start, you know. And so you get that fall sports season starting up. It's there's a lot of excitement. You get these kids are all a year older, and the juniors are now seniors, and now they're in leadership positions where they might not have been before, and the freshmen are coming in all wide-eyed and get a taste of what varsity sports is really like, and how different it is from junior high. And
you start off in August and September, and you got 95, 100-degree days, and by the end you're at a marching competition for band or state softball, and you're in a bunch of coats, and the crisp weather has moved in.
You have to bring everything along with you, because you never know what you're going to get in Nebraska.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of neat. It seems to always go real fast, and it just kind of, I always feel that it really sets the tone for the start of the school year, getting off to a good start. So that's really what our focus is right now with our staff. When they come back, we'll be here in a couple weeks, is just what can we do to make sure we get off to a good start. We just have been talking a lot about safety, and we know that's on people's minds, with what happened in Uvalde, Texas. We were out of school when that happened, but that's in the back of everyone's mind. We want to make sure we got a good safety plan and that we're following through. But the one thing that you'll hear school administrators talk about, and any research on school safety is is really the number one deterrent to any issues of violence. It has to do with positive relationships in the building, making sure that teachers are watching out for the kids and kids know that they have a person that they can talk to. And so, those are things that really in the fall we really want to establish a good positive culture and climate at school and make sure we get off to a good start.
Yeah, and I think we're blessed. We have a lot of great kids too.
Yeah.
I've been around these kids now for the last dozen or so years. Watching them in sports and other activities, and I think we've got, you always got a few oddballs in the bunch, but there's the vast majority of the kids in this community are really good kids.
Yeah, they are, and that a lot of that comes from that good support they have at home too, and so it's a you're right. We do have I say this a lot, and I really sometimes I don't know if people realize when I go to other schools and follow our teams or anything that our kids are in. I don't know that there's a time that goes by that an administrator from another school or a coach or a teacher will come up and say, you got good kids at Wayne. They work hard. They're respectful. They're just pleasant. And I always thought that when I was at Battle Creek before Wayne, and you could sense that then too. And I did sense that when I was there that Wayne, the people in Wayne just seem to have a good demeanor about themselves, and our kids really represent us really, really well. Yeah,
it's a great community to be a part of, and looking forward to another year of fun here at the school and all that comes with it. I'm always excited about that when they get to this time of year. So
it's a good time of year. You bet.
Yeah, we're talking with Dr. Mark Lenihan, the superintendent of schools here at Wayne Community Schools on the Voice of Wayne America podcast, and we have talked about, of course, he's an award winner, he's superintendent of the year, and also the upcoming school year and some of the future plans for the district. Mark, thanks a lot for taking time to talk today, and look forward to another fun, fantastic school year here.
Great, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm sure I'll see you around at things. I think I run into you more than just about anybody usually, so I appreciate all the coverage and support that you give our school too, and that's just one example of that great support we get, so thank you for all you do.
All right, thanks a lot. That's going to do it for this edition of Voice of Wayne America here on WayneAmerica.com. I want to thank Dr. Mark Lenihan from Wayne Community Schools for talking with us on the show this time. We'll have another edition of the Voice of Wayne America podcast here on Wayne America coming up very soon. Until then, this is Mike Carnes, and we'll see you later.